You're gonna have a baby. Makes me uncomfortable
Does it?
sometimes.
How come?
Just 'cause.
What's up, everybody? It's your boys at Door Chronicles. This is episode 9. Episode 9. Let's see. We are a couple weeks removed from Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving break or food or whatever it is you did. Hopefully it was good. Hopefully it was safe.
That's only. Oh, that was. Oh my God! It's
Almost
been 2 weeks already.
Man.
Shit.
Yeah, hope everybody had a good, safe time. Maybe getting rid of some of them extra calories they got. Whatever it is you got to do, just keep piling it on. I don't give shit. I'll just, as everybody knows, I'm not in Colorado, so I don't know what y'all's weather's like right now.
Oh, it's beautiful. Today it was beautiful. In the daytime the sun's out and it warms up nicely. We had October temperatures today. Yeah, we did. But at night, I mean, it's Colorado, baby. It's winter and it's December in Colorado, man. When the sun goes down, it gets cold.
It's been like that here too. It's been let's see, during the days it's been getting to about, I'd say for the past week it's gotten to maybe like 65, 66. And then at night it's like 27, 28 degrees, man. It's been cold and it's been raining like crazy down here. Which I'm used to saying we need it, but we don't need that shit down here. We got water everywhere.
We need it. I mean, we just got that fire 100% contained like 3 days ago. That fire, the biggest fire in Colorado history, we just got it contained 100% like 2 or 3 days ago.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll see.
We'll see, man.
So so this week, Christian and I we're just gonna kind of shoot the shit a little bit. We don't have any guests for you this week. Everybody's,
Yeah, man. Holidays
right.
and stuff. Everybody's just getting back and swinging their shit.
And we're still sponsored by Riff Rag.
That's right, the Riff Rag, covering local music in Southern Colorado and beyond.
So let's see what we have going on and a little bit of what we have going on in some current events. I'm sure everybody knows about the decriminalization bill that just
oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Got through the House, which is, I mean, it's a good step, but I'm sure we all know it's going to go die in the Senate. I was holding out a little hope. I was looking at the vote in the House, and there was actually, I think it was 6 Republicans actually voted for the bill. And I was like, well, that's a good sign. We only need 3 right now to get it over through the Senate. But there was also, I think there was 4 Democrats that went against the bill in the House. So, why? Who knows what the reasoning is? Who knows if it's even going to get heard in the Senate? As long as we have Mitch McConnell as Speaker of the House Majority, who knows if it'll even come to the floor? But
meanwhile, in Portland, all drugs have been legalized in Portland. Hard drugs.
Decriminalized.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's right. Actually,
yeah. But I mean, I'm for some of that. I mean, well, you know what it is? People are going to do it anyways. So dealing with the drug problem has nothing to do with dealing with the influx of drugs. You're not going to the U.S. war on drugs, which is 3 decades old or whatever, is a complete fucking failure, right?
Right.
So I mean, I understand the reasoning behind it. I understand the reason countries like Venezuela did it. You know what I mean? I mean, the drugs are there. People are going to consume them. May as well not fill your fucking jail with people who need, if they want to, you know, not be on drugs, need treatment.
Right.
Right? Don't fill your fucking jails with those people. And, I mean, deal with it from another aspect other than the way it's been dealt with for 30 years, because come on, man.
Right.
It's not working. All it's done is, you know, subjected a whole bunch of people to a certain class and incarcerated most of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
The reason that it hangs in there is because once they get you in the system, you become a moneymaker for the system.
Absolutely.
Right? You know what I mean? So that's why they keep this fucking system going the way it is, because as long as you've got a number, they can get paid for you.
Right. Very true. You know, it's unfortunate that a lot of the people in government, they look at drug addiction, you know, the way they see it is, you know, once an addict, always an addict, and that's just not the case, you know.
That sure the fuck isn't. So,
you know, there needs to be some kind of rehabilitation. You know, I understand that people make that choice to start or whatever, but they certainly didn't go into it with the intent of becoming a, you know.
And not every rehabilitated person got that way through treatment.
Right. Very true.
What I mean?
Very true.
For some people, it is as easy as a choice not to fucking do those drugs. Right. It's that fucking easy.
Right. So yeah. So I mean, that's you know, I guess it's a good first step that it got through the House. You know, I guess all the states have voted on it recently. They all passed for decriminalization, including Mississippi, which I was really shocked by that for marijuana. Shocked that became decriminalized.
Texas too, huh?
If it was on the ballot, then it went through, which, you know, should really tell all these congressmen, senators, and all that shit. It should tell them something. But anyway, you know, another thing they're talking about now is the new relief package, which I got to tell you, in my opinion, you know, the Democrats that are in Congress, they've got to learn how to negotiate better or something. Considering what they were negotiating prior to the election, you know, and they can't meet anywhere in the middle. You know, the Democrats like, we're not going to go beneath 2, which is already less than what they wanted to begin with, but they're not going to go beneath that. Republicans are like, we're not going to go above $1 trillion. You know, oddly enough, Trump comes out with it tells him and Mnuchin come out with like, hey, you know, telling McConnell, let's get it up to 1.8 trillion, which is a shock. None of that goes through. You know, the Democrats are like, no, we're not going to do it. And then we go to the election, and here we are, and now they're talking right now as a starting point at 908 billion, which is way less than everybody. And you got fucking turtle face McConnell there saying, well, I don't want it past 500 billion. So, and of course, none of it's directed towards the people, aiding the people directly. You know, they're talking about putting in part of another PPP part of the package, which I was looking into that from the last one, and the PPP, you know, they had, okay, there's 100% of the pie, and they're like, well, 87% of that portion. I think the portion was 5. I don't want to say exactly how much it was because I don't exactly know how much went to that, but it was a good chunk of money, right? And they're like, well, 87% of it money went to small businesses, right, where it should go. That sounds great, 87%, right? Well, the problem with that is the reason why the 100% didn't go there is because you got these corporations who are franchised. As a franchise, these people they were able to apply and get get this the support with the PPP support. They were able to get that, and then of course when the small business gets the money, it all goes straight up to the corporate office. You know, so they're getting all this money. But you're thinking, okay, it's only 13%. Well, here's the problem with the whole thing: is that 13% got over 50% of the money, which leaves the 87% has got such a small piece of the pie. It's no wonder that all these small businesses really didn't have the help they needed. How many have closed down? So you know it's not going to be any different this time around. The amount's obviously going to be smaller. You're still going to have these big corporate douchebags putting their big hands in there, pulling out what they can through loopholes, and it's disgusting. I mean, and the fact that
you want to name some names, man, or I mean, I'm just.
If I knew the names, I would put it out there. But I tell you, it's I see the fight for the small business right now. It's real, man, and it's something that these people, or not these people, the people, all of us, we need to stand up to the government somehow. And this is not a right or left thing. We all need to stand together and quit begging for money. We fund the goddamn government. They need to help people out, whether it's all the eviction deals that are going to happen.
Oh my God, dude!
The what do you call it?
The rest of the world is just watching America, going, "What the fuck?"
And it's crazy,
what
man.
What the fuck are they doing, man? For their people. I mean, countries like Denmark and fucking Scotland, England, and shit. I mean, they're really taking care of their fucking citizens, man, for the interim. You know what I mean? And all those countries there. I see it, man. I see it on social media. People from other countries going, "What the fuck are you guys doing over there, dude?
Right.
Why is your government hanging you guys out to dry like that, bro?"
Right. And
we're one of the richest fucking countries in the world, right? I mean, what the fuck, bro?
And I think they have. I think as of the day after Christmas, December 26th, I believe the unemployment stuff just goes away completely. So everybody that's been depending on that, they're just screwed out of that money. They have nothing. But it's something where we got to figure something out to. I just don't understand. I don't understand the way that this has been running. Not that I don't claim to know everything about civics or politicians or anything like that.
Yes. Once again, this is an opinion show. You know what I mean? Right. We're just here to conversate and give up our opinions on shit that we care about. And you can agree with us, disagree with us. There's there's a little look down there. See that button that says comments? Hit that motherfucker. Do not be afraid to hit that motherfucker and say something if you got something to fucking say. I mean, Brian and we decided to fucking say what we want on this platform. You know what I mean? So,
and
we're the ones hanging our asses out there.
Right. So, we love feedback either way. If you agree or disagree, it's fine with us. I mean,
don't be afraid to hang your ass out here with us, bro.
So that's going on. We'll see what happens with that. But to all the small businesses out there that are struggling, man, it means nothing for me to say. It means nothing for me to say. I wish I could personally do something to help, but I will do whatever I can. If there's something I can do that you can let me know.
If there's a way we can get the word out, please reach out to us. And we will definitely do what we can.
It's unfortunate, the unemployment in small businesses through no fault of anybody's that's going through this, and nobody's getting help, and it's insanity to me. Anyway, so back to a higher note here. Let's see, we're just after Thanksgiving. Chris and I were talking about this recently. This is the time of year when we were still doing our production work, stagehand work. This was the time of year in Colorado Springs when we were always extremely busy.
This is normally after the touring season, so everybody's just home from tour, and like in my situation, just home from tour. And so, holiday season is always full of local shows. We have a 9,000 seat arena, and right now we'd be sometime during this time period, we'd be doing Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And also we staff, a 2,500 seat theater downtown Colorado Springs, the Pike's Peak Center. And, that would be just full of holiday shows starting the 1st of November and running through New Year's Eve. You know what I mean? I mean, everything from the Nutcracker, Children's Chorale, Philharmonics, everything is going on in this town during October. Well, November and December is like really the kickoff to our season locally.
Right.
Normally it would be as stagehands. Yeah.
So. Right. And, you bring up Nutcracker. We would have multiple Nutcrackers come through. And it's funny. I was thinking about this just a little while ago. Every year we did a major Nutcracker would come in and they would be there for about a week.
So we're talking about traveling companies like the San Diego Ballet or Oklahoma City Ballet. They would come in, bring their production, all their set, and all their dancers. They would be backed up musically by the Colorado Springs Philharmonic, and then they would do a run of Nutcracker shows.
Right. And then later, usually a week or so after that, we'd have a local one come in and do it.
The children's ballet or the youth ballet or whatever it is, and but they would have principal. They would also bring in guest principal dancers from major companies from across the country.
Right.
For their shows.
Yeah. So I was just thinking about this earlier today. We'd have the major one come through. So you're talking about a week straight, and on top of 14 years, a week straight of that time of hearing the Nutcracker music, at least at bare minimum 3 times a day.
It's a 9-day run from load in to load out. It's a 9-day run with 4 days of shows.
4 days of shows, a couple of days of tech.
Couple days of load out. Usually.
Yeah. So we'd hear this music, and I remember every time I'd hear Nutcracker music, man, I'd want to. That's why I have no hair, because I'd pull my hair out. I'd get so aggravated with it, and we have the smaller companies in. I'm like, crap, we got to hear this again. And I find myself, since I haven't done a Nutcracker since.
You miss it now, don't you, buddy?
I do. It's weird, man. I'm like, somewhere.
Alexa, play Nutcracker. Play the Nutcracker, sweet Alexa.
Now the first Nutcracker I ever got to do in the Pike's Peak Center was back in 2005.
San Diego Ballet.
San Diego Ballet. And we did the setup, and I remember thinking, it was that was my first experience with with a large production like that. And the two people that ran it they were Russian or Ukrainian.
Yes.
And, but I remember this was also my first show call during a theater production. And Keith Keyran and I were tasked with, during one of the all women ballets, I think it was, they had dry ice on the side of the stage, and we'd have to put them in these homemade containers, and then the little blowers they had on them would blow the dry ice out onto the floor, in theory, right?
They were 50 gallon Rubbermaid trash cans, garden trash cans.
So Keith and I would both be on our, I was on stage right, he's on stage left. We're in the legs. We'd have to set up right before, and we're on comm and everything. And they'd be like, all right, go dry ice. And the ladies, I wish I could do the accent that she did. It was so funny hearing it. But we put the dry ice in, and it, during rehearsals, it would always go really well. It'd go really cool. Well, during the shows, it never went well. And I didn't realize this until later on, but during the shows, they turn on those big air handlers. So every time we would push that out, the dry ice would go out about 10 feet and then it would just stop. The ladies in our ears, every show, more dry ice, Keith Bryan, more dry ice. And we're like, God, we're putting in all the dry ice. It's all in there. There's none left. So we'd have to redo it during a rehearsal. We'd redo it and come out perfectly, because the air handlers would be off. So it would come out there and it would coat the stage nice and perfectly. Oh man, it was so funny. Me and Keith, we'd get so frustrated, like we don't have any more dry ice to put in here. And so that was my first experience with that. But I love those people, man. They were such good people. They were so nice.
San Diego Ballet was fun to do.
Yeah.
So how it works is that the ballet company signs a multi-year, usually like a 3-year contract with the Colorado Springs Philharmonic to present this show here at the Pikes Peak Center every season, or every season that they have a contract for. And it just so happened that for the last 5 years, was it 5 years? 5 years, we had the Oklahoma City Ballet. So we got to know that crew extremely well. And those shows went really, really well because, after by the third year of working with that company and then having to do 2 more runs, right? 2 more seasonal runs of that show, we really got it down to a science. I mean,
right.
There was not much discussion as to what needed to happen from the time trucks got cracked on the dock to the time we closed them at a loadout. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just because we had done it so many times before, and I could see how easy work can become when you can get so used to doing the same production. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, it's nice to get into that, to be able to work with a company long enough to get into that rhythm is really nice. And it was, like I said, it was a lot of fun because, if you're not so hung up, if you already know what it is you got to do, it makes it more fun to spend, 8, 9, 10 days looking at their fucking faces every day.
Right. And I remember when they first came in Oklahoma City, they had a bigger than normal set, bigger than most of the companies that come in. Their set pieces.
I mean, we flew 2 dancers.
Yeah. And the bird, we flew them in the little
by flying means we mean an aerial gag in the show, where the prince and the princess land in whatever that is, in a sugar plum land or whatever, in a balloon.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to fly them down onto the stage deck in what looks like a hot air balloon. So, that's always a very intricate move in theater because you are moving live actors from an elevated position to the ground and vice versa. So what we had to do is this would happen at the beginning of the second act. And so during the intermission, before the curtain rose again for the second act, we would hide those 2 dancers and the balloon. We'd load the balloon up, load up the counterballast, hide it up in the ceiling until it was time to cue them to come land down, which was, it happened within the first 3 minutes of the second act.
Yeah, it was funny. I was always tasked with actually making the move every year, which that was my favorite part. I loved that responsibility, but I knew it was, and once you get used to,
you're talking about being on the fly. Brian, okay, so let me explain. Brian was a flyman for me at the Pikes Peak Center actually, Brian and I ran the fly rail for, Jesus Christ, man, what was it, 4 seasons, 4 seasons?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so we did all the fly rail and rigging work in that building for quite a few seasons. So I forgot. I keep forgetting that you were up there for that because by that time I was already head carp. So I was on the deck.
Yeah. I did. I was the one I did that move every year. And it was funny. I remember the first year we did it. we got one of the, I think it was the first time we had the understudy actors, like one of the shows where they had the understudies, and they came and we got them up at the end of intermission. So we get them up. So our fly rail at the Pikes Peak Center is about 50, 60 feet off the ground. That's where the helm is. We bring them, we pull them up. So they're behind the border. And I remember looking out and I see the guy, he starts looking down into the basket of the hot air balloon. And he's like, oh, it's okay. And so we kind of look over and the girl is in a full on panic. She's like, she's freaked out about being that high up. She's freaked out that, there's somebody that she doesn't know is going to fly her in and is going to do it safely. And
as well as I know, that is chain, aircraft cable, and Crosby's daddy-o.
Right.
But that's why rigging is a science.
That's right. And plus, they have to have faith in the person doing it. I mean, they lose control one way or the other. You don't know if that, they don't know what goes into the counterweight, to all of it. So, they got to figure if this person doesn't hold on, I'm going to go plowing into the deck. You know what I mean? And, but I remember laughing so hard. Got her in, and she loved it. Once she did it once, she was fine. She's like, that was awesome. That was so much fun. And we're like, of course, we're not going to hurt you. We're not going to try to hurt you anyway. I mean, obviously shit can happen, but not on our watch, man. So that was always a lot of fun. And I loved doing that kind of stuff. And that's one reason I like the Nutcracker. We'd have to have 5 fly guys up there doing moves because there's so many
simultaneous moves. Yeah.
And,
all the portals would change with the location, like the ice and the snow and the sugar cane or the candy or whatever.
And then the tree growing and all that stuff, man. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of fun to be a part of that. And that part, for the last, at least while Oklahoma City was there, Tony, he was the guy trying to call and get everything coordinated as best he could. He did a good job. He did, he did what he could do. He and I he was the lead guy, but he and I were the most experienced up there. And, I was always curious how it went.
And that's after Tony came back and we were running the fly.
So there's been at least one Nutcracker there after, because we kind of had, and it wasn't, I know a lot of people probably don't, or a lot of people that were there that were at the center don't know this, but the exodus that happened from there, at least the experience that left, it wasn't done out of malice. It was, Daniel ended up getting a job in Alaska. He and his wife, him and his family moved to Alaska. Tony left he had his reasons for leaving. I was moving. It just kind of happened. It just so happened to all happen within a couple of months of each other.
Yeah. Thanks, fuckers.
I was always curious how, especially like that next the Nutcracker ran. And I remember writing you. I texted you. I'm like, hey man, are you working the Nutcracker? You're like, nope, I'm on the TSO run right now. And so that was another big one we always did this time of year.
Yeah, man. I mean, it just so happened that once in a while, the Nutcracker would coincide with Trans-Siberian Orchestra over at the fucking Broadmoor World Arena. And God, man, I remember 2000. My friend Ryan Furr, I think Ryan. He's used to be one of the Rhino riggers. He's the head rigger at the Mission Ballroom now.
Okay.
He and myself are the head riggers there. And so he posted a picture the other day of crew shirt day, and it happened to be a TSO shirt. And so, I posted a different shirt because there's so many of them, because you do this. If you're a local guy, even if you're not a local guy, if you're a touring guy and you're home in the holidays, you're doing this fucking show normally. Right. This time of year, you're doing TSO, right? If you work for a building during the holiday season, it's an arena. Sorry.
Right.
Be more specific. If you work for an arena during the holiday season, you're doing fucking TSO.
Right.
Normally. So somebody posted a 2004 crew shirt of TSO, which is also the oldest TSO shirt that I have. But back in 2004, I remember it was still, I think, 2004 might have still been half house shows.
I think 2004 would have been my first year.
Was that the first big show?
I think that was the first time it went to, because I don't think
a full arena show.
A full arena show. It was still small relative to what it got. I think it was still only maybe a handful of trucks, maybe.
Yeah, my point being is I remember the first time I did TSO, it was this many trucks. 2 fucking trucks, bro. And the last time I did TSO, it was 18, right? Down from 22.
Well, I think the last time I did it, I thought it was 26. That would have been 2017.
24. 24 is the most I think it got to.
Yeah, I know it was definitely close to the.
Remember that, but they didn't come. But that was the only year it got that high, because the next year, 2018, when they came through, it was already down a few trucks.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, for me personally, as the steward, that was a 22, sometimes 24-hour shift for me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was a crazy fucking day for me, because, man, first of all, we are a D market in Colorado Springs, so we pull from a very limited technical labor pool as far as theatrical and entertainment know-how goes.
Right.
So a lot of times we had to, add labor, and when you have to add labor, you have to use labor companies, and unfortunately, those numbers really fluctuated against me a lot of years. You know what I mean? I would have way more temp labor than I would have tech guys. And there's nothing I could do about that. There's nothing. Look, bottom line is the goddamn show has been contracted. The trucks have arrived. The show must fucking go on. They want X number of people. And at a certain point, we're talking about crews on staggered load and start times, right? With an ending number of anywhere from 70 to 100 fucking people, right? Fucking A, man. To have to be responsible for that many people, to get everybody, right? Get their fucking name, put them on a list, try to gauge what department they would be great in, right? And then make sure that they stay where they're supposed to be for 8, 10, 12 hours?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Let me tell you, man. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know. Now, saying that shit out loud, I'm amazed. I'm amazed that I have not. One year, I thought I was going to cry. I thought I was going to just lose my shit and fucking cry. Walk out of that building and say, fuck you guys. I am done getting my ass chewed for you guys. I'm fucking gone.
It's fun. Some of those, I would find it funny. We would get the labor in, and the daily labor, and we'd have some people in the morning that would show like a lot of promise. They'd have that real go get 'em attitude, really wanting to learn and really catching on and doing a really good job. And we'd be like, hey man, we'd all the normal the normals, the tech people that have been doing it for a long time. We'd be like, hey, let's keep an eye on this person. Maybe it's something we could get into our pool of talent or whatever down the road. By the end of the night, 9 times out of 10, by the end of the night, that person would want to have nothing to ever want to do with that kind of work again.
With stagehand work again, yeah, man.
I ain't never coming back here. I'm never doing this again, man. That kicked my ass.
Dude, I've had new hires, man. New hires with theatrical, mainly theatrical experience, come in and go, hey, man, I'm going to do arena shows, bro. You know what? And quit 3 hours into the load-in, dude. They're like, no. I had this girl walk up to me, right? She was an IATSE girl from another state. I'm not going to say what state. I'm not going to say what local, right? But she was a fucking wardrobe chick. Normally, that was her gig. That's what her resume said. And so what? There's a lot of wardrobe on fucking TSO, bro. You know what I mean? But she 3 hours after the loadout started, she comes up to me and she goes, "You know what? I this is not what I was expecting. I'm not going to be able to finish my shift." I'm like, okay, here we go. I've already got more fucking temps than I have locals, and I'm losing another fucking local because shit is too hard, bro. You're either a fucking pirate or you're not, man.
That's right.
And
That's right.
but it's good that at least she threw her hat in and found out for her fucking self that she's not a pirate.
Right.
You know what I mean? But this kind of fucking work is not for fucking everybody. To be under a fucking full high pressure schedule like that, to have to get that size of a show into a building. I mean, we're talking about hanging 100. I think the max weight got up to something like 125,000 pounds of lights, set, and audio hung in the roof of the World Arena.
Right.
I think it was like 116 to 100 and I don't know how many fucking points. 130 points, motor points, spread from the upstage dasher all the way downstage to front of house. They got the same. They got the same guys that did the Pyro Eagles for Slayer to do the last couple of years. They have a TSO logo that lights up in flames. It flames up and it sits all the way behind front of house.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. So yeah, TSO is huge. I mean, again, when it first started out, it was a couple of trucks and it was one company and they would just do as many shows as they could from November through, whatever, Christmas. Now, I mean, in the, what is it, 20 years? No. Is it 20 years? I don't know. However many years that fucking show has been on the road, there's now two companies. So you have, this is how you can see TSO on the East Coast and the West Coast in that short period of time from the 1st of November to Christmas. Because now there's two companies, an the TSO East and TSO West. And what was it? A couple of years ago, they were talking about, I think the last year that J Dot was still the tour manager for them. I heard that they were trying to do simultaneously do shows in Europe as well. So one more company would be added for a European run during that same holiday run.
Yeah.
And so that's, I mean, it's a big thing. I mean, and I don't know. TSO was always great. It was a great concept, and it's always been a great. It's always been a moneymaker, ticket seller. I mean, people love that show.
Well, you got to figure, what you were saying about how big it is, how many trucks we got to load in, all the points, all the lighting, all the audio, and everything. We'd have the staggered load-in times. So, and what that means, you'd have a certain amount of guys come in, start. Then you'd have another group of people come in. And it would just all kind of funnel in until eventually everybody's in there working on setting it up. Now, I think if I remember correctly, load-ins would start about 6 a.m.
Yeah. 6, sometimes 5.
Yeah. Now,
well, if the load-in started for you guys at 6, it started for me at 5.
Right. Now, so to give people an idea, especially if you've ever seen a TSO show, you know how much stuff is going on. Normally, we would have to do it. They would have matinee shows at our
Yes.
arena. So you're talking about not only getting all that up, but it's not like we spent days on doing that. That was half a day that we had to get that off the trucks, built into the air,
To
tested,
be ready for a 3 p.m. show.
ready to go. And it always, that's
Well, no,
one,
let me not to be ready for a 3 p.m. show, but to be ready for a noon pyro test.
right. And I mean that always blew me away. It didn't matter. I mean, I did this, and goes for any big show. But I've doing this for so many years, it never ceases to amaze me on what you can get a group of people that, and in our situation, a lot of these people that have never done this job before, or have never, they don't necessarily know what they're doing. They just got to follow directions to get this all done in half a day and entertain people the way that it does. It's so amazing to me. And it's such a, for me, it's a very, when you see something built like that, I feel very proud. And you like when you do a show call and you see people going crazy, and, sometimes I'd be like, man, I don't ever get to be on their side of it. But to be honest, I don't want to be on their side of it, man. I love working the shows. But it was always
Brian. It's because you're a fucking pirate, bro.
Speaking of that, I have a hard time going to like normal, like buying a ticket to go see a concert or a show or anything like that, because I find myself watching a lot of other things aside from what I should be watching. I'm looking at lights and audio and backstage and spotlights, and I just, my eye just focuses on that kind of stuff. And so I don't tend to go to a lot of concerts and things like that. The ones that I work, I enjoy seeing them. I'm able to watch them, but I'm also working, and I'm able to focus on what I'm doing at the same time. And it's very weird. Like the last show that I went to, that I mean, where I did not care about any of the production. It didn't matter to me. Yes, I got to see Faith No More in 2015 in September, and boy, that just blew me away. But it felt so nice to go there. Yeah, it felt so nice to go there and watch that show and not.
I miss that show, man.
Not think about it. It was, for me, it was a religious experience for me, man. It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome, and everybody that was there, it was awesome. And but nonetheless, it's not something I normally do. So most of the entertainment I get to see like that always came through work, and that's something with people in our industry. It's like, and this is not me complaining, but we didn't have weekends and nights, and we don't go to shows because we're the ones setting them up and putting them on, and that's very much a source of pride for a lot of us that are in the industry. It's very much a source of pride, and I'm glad that when things are tough, even in the world, that it's always called upon us. When they say the show must go on, that ain't no joke. It doesn't matter if you have 100 people that have one arm and a leg. You got to get that shit built, and it's going to go on. Hey, I mean, that's just the way it is, and it's
you have not lived until you have gone on tour with a major theater production, right? Shown up at a union building, and your head carpenter only has one hand. Your head union carpenter only has one hand. True fucking story. That guy also was a pirate. I keep saying pirate. The reason we call each other pirates, road people, production people that do this thing that we do with a passion, because of the passion, for pretty much a lifetime. Once production gets into your blood, man, you're in it until you can't fucking push a box anymore. And those people are pirates. And the way why we call each other pirates is because theatrical rigging goes back to the great sailing ships and the you know what I mean, of the day. That's where theatrical rigging evolved from. So that's why we call each other pirates. And that's also why a lot of the times in backstage areas, at festivals, for instance, you'll see on the backside, if you're ever lucky enough, you may catch on the backside of a stage up in some very high point, uh, Skull and Bones flag.
Jolly Roger.
Because, yeah, a Jolly Roger, because riggers are fucking pirates, bro.
Absolutely. Yeah, I tell you, and I've seen a couple guys that have come into the industry, been really good at it, and they just decided it just wasn't their cup of tea. Did really well.
We lose a lot of talent to it just not being the right fit for people. I mean, I've seen a lot of people. I've personally hired a lot of people that were very talented that just figured that they could do better somewhere else in some other industry or field. Right. And not, it's not, like I said, it's not for everybody, especially not going out on the road, man, being away from your family and your home, living out of a suitcase, on a fucking bus with, a dozen guys for 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months at a time. You know what I mean? Right. It's not for everybody, but man, fuck, it's definitely the shit. I mean, I was born to be in the entertainment industry in one capacity or another, and I'm just knock wood. I consider myself so blessed, man.
Right.
I've done the shit, seen the shit that I have done, man. So whatever.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. When I first got into this business, the first time I even really ever thought of backstage stuff going on. This is a silly story, but this was back when the Gold Kings were still playing in the arena, right? And me and I don't remember who else came with me, but a couple of us went to go see a Gold Kings game. And Suzanne was obviously already still working there, or she was already working there at the time. And we were sitting by the home vom right on the corner there, right? And we got pretty drunk. I wish I could remember. We got pretty drunk. Anyway, the puck gets over into the corner, right? And I'm up there. I'm like, yeah, I'm banging on the glass. Yeah. Well, I went to go sit back down in my chair, not thinking that the chair seats fold up. You stand up. So I went to sit down, and boy, I went down. My arms caught
chair there.
My arms caught the things, and I'm sitting there with my arms over my head. I'm laughing. My friends are laughing at me, and Suzanne from the catwalk. It's back when they had the spotlights up on the catwalk. Hits me with the freaking spotlight. Lights me up. Boom! She was on it like it was. I was like, oh, I was so embarrassed, man. It was so funny. But that was the first time I really saw any part of it. If I saw spotlights at that point, I never thought of it as, people being there. But when she hit me with that, I was embarrassed. And when I got into the job, she's the one that pushed my application through. I owe her a lot for getting me into the building. But then once I got in, I had we had a lot of really good guys there that kind of took me under their wing. Ricky B, who helped me out a lot, and Keith and Cinch and guys like that really did a lot for me, really helped me and taught me. Ray Mangum, all those people, they all taught me a lot. And it's so weird. We had a huge crew at the time. I remember when we would do big shows back then, the labor that we would have to pull outside of the talent pool was really not big. I mean, there would be a couple guys they might have to get, and sometimes they wouldn't have to get anybody. It would just all be.
No, you're talking about back in the day.
Yeah, and so when it kind of transitioned to there wasn't so many locals there.
We
anymore.
did at one point have over 100 locals, including riggers,
right,
on our local crew call list. Right. You know what I mean?
and they were all really
Of
good.
course, granted, that was before Rhino got here, but also there was a time period before Rhino got here where all those people moved on because their careers had a natural progression.
Right.
I mean, I was touring before we had Leilani, and then, I stopped touring so much until, the last 4 or 5 years. And I was just getting, my name back out there. You know what I mean? Before it all just shut down in my face, bruh. So, whatever.
Right.
I got some good credits in the last few years, man.
Right. So, but yeah, I was lucky enough to have a lot of good people learn this industry. And who I always forget to give credit to, man, is old Donnie Myers, man.
Oh, Donnie.
Donnie, boy, he was
Donnie fucking Myers, baby.
I miss that dude sometimes. I haven't seen him in a long time. Anyway, so I got to learn through a lot of those guys and continued it on up to and through, 2018 when we moved. And I knew it'd be hard to get in somewhere when I left there, but I figured, I got a good resume. I got, a lot of solid work behind me, a lot of experience, and it's not easy. It's not easy to get into places, man. It's down here, and I'm sure it's like this everywhere. I'm sure it's even like this to people that come into Colorado Springs. It's very much there's a certain group of people that are house people, man, and they're very tight knit, and they're very, we decide who comes in or not. You know what I mean? It's
are we going there?
So it's interesting, but here, I got on with.
Oh, I thought you were talking about here.
No.
I thought we were going there.
I'm talking about everywhere. I'm talking about everywhere.
You're right. It is fucking everywhere, bro.
So, but I just got back on with Rhino right before all this hit, and sure enough, man, it hit, and there's nothing we can do now, and which is why we're talking about it.
You
now.
just got on with Rhino down in Mississippi.
Yeah, they just took over the local.
Rhino is a theatrical entertainment labor company. Mm-hmm. Started out in Arizona, and they've got offices pretty much across the nation. And they're a great company, man. They have their hands in a lot of events all across the nation.
Right.
And they're big enough where when we have so much going on in Colorado, they're shipping us people to help us make sure our shows go on. You know what I mean? So it's a great company. I worked for them as a rigger at the Pepsi Center in Denver, and also at Fiddler's Green in Denver. And they're awesome.
Yeah.
It's a good crew. They have good, technically sound people in every city that they have an office.
Right.
And they make sure that they do. So
they have an office somewhere in Louisiana, but they had the Smoothie King Center and the Superdome, and I'm sure they have other places over there. But they just, like I said, they just recently took over the arena that's near my house. So yeah, I got on with them. I was excited to get started, man. I was, because I had worked in that arena once before, when it was more of the I don't know, the crew before Rhino, right? I worked with them, and it was fine. I mean, it was a typical arena show, I guess. I don't know. The people that were running it were they were what they were. I'll just leave it at that. A lot of bad communication, a lot of with me anyway. I tried to be, I'm always a what's next guy. I'm always like a when you need me here, when you want me here, when you need me to come back. And anyhow, so that kind of went south then. So when Rhino took over, I jumped on that pretty quick. Sent my resume to him and got to go over there and go through all their, Hillamaroo, whatever it is they got to put you through. make sure you know what you're doing, and make sure they kind of do the CYA stuff on their side, make you sign all the papers. And like I said, as soon as all that happened, this was back in December, and shortly after that, all this hit, and it all just went away. It just went away. But I'm excited to go back and do it. I think I talked to one of the
Rhino, man.
I talked to one of the Rhino guys. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoy doing arena stuff, I really do. But my niche is definitely theater stuff. I like working in theaters.
I love theater, man. I hate to admit it, but I do. I love theater. I love the Broadway runs, man. There's something about working in that small, intimate space that is really, really cool. But then again, man, I was lucky enough over the last few years to be able to be the production manager for Live Nation at shows like the Eagles and Jimmy Buffett at Coors Field, or the Pretenders, Journey, and Def Leppard at Coors Field. Where for those few days, man, it was all up to me to make sure that shit did not get fucked up for you know what I mean? I everything from receiving vendor deliveries and setting up dressing rooms to making sure the Terraplast is right, doing the fills, the infield fills, walking the crane through the tunnel, man. Making sure the stage gets built. Shout out to G2 Structures. Love those fucking guys. Love you, love you, love you. But yeah, man, those experiences, that and, shit like 2 summer sanitarium tours, touring the nation with Dave Matthews and NSYNC in just arenas, the Zip Code tour with the Rolling Stones that I got to do, so much fucking fun, bro. But Slayer, the fucking final 2-year farewell tour that took me across the globe and shit, man. I have got to do some cool ass fucking shit. I have seen some pretty cool ass shit, and shit that I can't ever fucking share with nobody. Unless you and me are like this. But it has been the best. And I'm 50 fucking, this is the fucking part that really gets me, dude. I'm in my 50s, man. I'm in my mid 50s, bro. And I thought I would retire in this industry. And all of a sudden, I'm not sure.
Right.
I'm not sure if this industry gets back and I'm still available to finish my career.
Right.
That's kind of fucking, it's a bummer, dude. It's a real fucking bummer. And I know I've got a lot of friends out there. John Rose, I'm talking to you right now if you're watching. Bro, I know a lot of us people in this industry are starting to crack at the edges, man. But please, please, please hang in there.
Right.
And if you need to, please reach out to somebody. I don't care if it's me, us, whatever, dude. Reach out to somebody if you are feeling it.
Right.
And you need to talk. Just reach out. There are so many people out here that are ready to, reach out back to you, man. And don't fucking stop swimming, man.
Right.
I want my friends to know that you should not fucking stop swimming. So, anyways.
Right. Yeah. And, and this, I feel like should go without saying, if anybody, anybody that does this kind of work or in any kind of entertainment work, if you ever want to come on and just talk about some experiences or whatever with us.
Yeah. Fucking send us the goddamn email, man. We run the email.
Yeah.
On every fucking episode that we do. Right. Come on the show, dude.
Email us, let us know your experiences. We love hearing everybody's experiences. We love sharing. Matter of fact, I wanted to share this particular story for a little while now. Something I got to do. I don't know what year it was. It was probably must have been maybe back in 08, 09, somewhere around there. I know Keith was still there because he's a part of this story. But we were doing a comedy show at the Pikes Peak Center. Now, comedy shows are pretty easy to set up. You got your basic set of lights. You got to do a couple washes of lights. You got a couple borders, a black in the back. On this particular one, we had to set up a movie screen, and that's really about it. You
talking about Cosby right now?
Yeah, I'm talking about Cosby.
Are you really?
Yeah. So we set the show up, and Keith and I, we get to run the 2 spotlights for the show. And when anybody that works there, you're on comm all the time. You got your headphones, your mic, and you get all your cues over the comm. And you usually hear, unless there's different channels, but normally there's not on a comedy show because it's so small. Usually everybody's on the same channel. You hear all the light cues. You hear whatever needs to be done. So we're sitting there. The show starts.
I was in the booth with you guys when he yelled at us.
I don't remember when this happened or how far into the show it was. But like I said, there was a movie screen set up, but the people on the balcony couldn't see the entire movie screen. Either the front teaser was too low or the screen was too high. Whatever the case is, they couldn't see it.
What happened? Basically, what it comes down to is that their fucking production manager didn't check his fucking sight lines before fucking Bill came on the deck. But it doesn't fall on him. It should. It's something. I was the fucking steward that day, and that should have been caught by myself.
Well, now the problem is on this particular show there was a third party camera crew that came in to run it, so they also checked the sight lines. So somehow,
I remember when their guy checked it. He checked it from balcony level, but he was all the way at the bottom of the balcony. He wasn't at the top of it. He never walked up those stairs to get to check the view from the top.
So we're sitting there, and there starts to be rumblings in the crowd about people not being able to see. Well, this word, I don't know how, but somehow it gets to Bill Cosby himself, who's sitting. He's just sitting on a chair doing his act, and people can't see. And if you know Bill Cosby at all before, a big part of his act is all his facial expressions. So that's why he wants to have the screen.
Right.
Well, he somehow gets word that people can't see. And he's very politely, he stands up and he's like, "Excuse me for 1 second. I got to step off the stage for a second." Seems super polite, right? And he comes over. I watch him walk off stage left. We kill our spotlights. We're just sitting there kind of waiting. And we hear the microphone, somebody picks it up. It's an open mic. And if you've ever had somebody pick up a mic when it's open, it hurts, number one.
Yeah, because they're banging it on everything.
So he puts this thing on and he starts, "Who the fuck is running the blah?" I mean, he's going fucking crazy, man.
What motherfucker?
We're looking at each other.
Which one of you motherfuckers is responsible for this right now? Bill fucking Cosby, bro.
I mean, you could hear the evil in this man's voice, man. It was just like we just stopped.
It was at that point. It was at that point, right? Reminiscing to that point right there when he got charged with all that shit. I knew he did it. By the way, he cuts me out.
Right, and that's the same way I felt. I remember we all looked at each other like, "Is this really fucking happening, man?" I mean, Bill Cosby of all people, just cursing people out, and we're sitting.
You know
like
how many fucking times I saw him doing Jello pop commercials as a kid and shit? Fucking Fat Albert was my shit, bro.
Oh, fuck, it was crazy. And before that show, it's another thing when you're in this business, seeing people that are stars it's not a big deal. You see them, it is, they're there to work. We're here to work, whatever.
It's not a big deal unless they make it a big deal. Barry Manilow.
Yanni.
Please, if you come across Mr. Manilow as he's walking down the dressing room hallway, please do not make eye contact. As a matter of fact, please don't look in his direction as he passes you. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm walking down the back hall of the Pike Speak Center, the same show when he freaked out. Now, this is beforehand, so this is before he loses it. And I happened to walk by his dressing room, and I hear him talking, and I just kind of glanced over, and I seen him, and he's sitting on his couch. He's talking on his phone or whatever. And I remember, oddly enough, most of the stars I've seen, for some reason, they always seem much smaller than I ever expected. They're usually, a lot of times, they're pretty small people. he was so big. I mean, I could sitting down in his chair. I remember thinking, holy fuck, that is a large man. I never realized Bill Cosby was such a big guy, man. He's a big guy. And, but when he came on and started yelling, I'll bring that up with Keith every now and again. I'll be like, man, could you believe that shit? I mean, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. We were dumbfounded.
Bro, I mean, you and I are one of the few people on this planet that can say we got cussed out by Bill, bro. Directly.
Directly. Without even being roofied.
Right? Fuck, man.
So,
anyway,
the reason why we wanted to do this particular episode like this, like I said, it's this time of year. We're reminiscing, it's just something that we think about every time this time of year. And not only do we, we think about family and all that, and think about
it's stuff we've been thinking about since, for me, March 13th, when the whole industry shut down, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, this is all we've got right now is our memories of what we do,
right,
or what we have done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, this is who the fuck we are.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's right. And this time of year, it brings it out, man. Every year I think about it. I never thought I'd have to think about it. I always figured I'd just be part of it. But, now we're at that point where it's just not there. And so we just wanted to share some stories with you guys. And again, we're certainly, we want the best. We want the best for everyone. And we're not, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I wish the best for everybody out there. I hope you had a great holiday, and I hope things in your work life are going okay. I don't know how lockdowns or whatever. I don't know if that's affecting you in Colorado. I know it's starting to hit other places.
Well, see, here's the thing. We're pretty close to a mandatory here. And if it doesn't flatten out a little bit, we'll be forced back into that. So
stay at home. Yeah. I don't see any of that here. Not, I don't know. It is.
And look, people are going to do it or they're not going to do it. And at this fucking point, I really just don't fucking care. We should, before we go, we should probably bring up that the vaccine is pretty fucking close. So I have a question for you, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Taking one or not? Let me answer first.
Okay.
I'm going to take one because I know that if our industry comes back, you're going to have one. You're going to have to be able to prove that you've had one. And secondly, I'm not too adverse to trying a new vaccine because I did 4 years in the regular fucking army, bro, during Desert Storm. And you get a fucking whole series of vaccinations in boot camp, right? Mm-hmm. First of all. Then you get a whole other series of vaccinations to prep you for going into a combat zone, Desert Storm, Desert Shield, Desert Storm, even if you don't go. Mm-hmm. Right. So I am willing to take a vaccine if it means I can get back to my life. You know what I mean? And I'm not adverse to it, nor am I worried about it because Lord fucking knows what the fucking U.S. Army injected me with back in the day during that time. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're always fucking, and they don't have to tell you, dude. You know what I mean? You get serious this, that, and the other. And it's for this, that, and the other. But it could be for a whole bunch of shit, man. So, yes, for me personally, I am willing to take a vaccine because I think, I understand that it will allow me to get back to the life that I had before COVID.
Right.
So my question to you again is, what do you feel about it? Are you going to take it?
I have no Yeah, the short answer is yeah, I will. And for a lot of the same reason, as far as I know that it's what I'll have to do in order to get back to doing what I love to do. But even if it's not, even if it wasn't what I were to get back into now I'm not one of those that has opinions about vaccines one way or the other. I don't, I've always got my kids vaccinated. Um, Now, when it comes to
I'm
getting
vaccinated. My kid is vaccinated. My
right,
girlfriend's kids are vaccinated.
and I think now the only time I've ever had a flu shot, this was it's been a while now. It's probably been 8, 9 years since I had one. And I know people will say, "Ah, it doesn't get you sick." My wife and I got so sick for 24 hours. We're so sick. And I don't care what anybody says. And I'm not saying everybody gets sick, but we got
No.
sick.
Yeah.
Uh, we got really sick. But it was for 24 hours. It was like a brutal 24-hour flu. And then we were fine. Um, and for a long time, that was my reasoning for not going back and getting a flu shot again. Plus, I was always active. I wasn't the age that I'm at now, and that's another thing I look at. I look at my age, man. We're right up there in that group of people that if you get hit by it, who knows? I'm just to the point where I don't think they don't know enough about this shit to know what a long-term effect is going to be. So a short answer before getting into all that is, yeah, I will. Um, I think that it will have traveled enough, it meaning the vaccine will have traveled, or enough people will have taken it by the time that us common folk will even get it, to where we will know of side effects and stuff like that. Um, as far as any kind of conspiracy theory or anything, I'm not even going to go there. I'm just looking at it, looking at it from what the CDC.
We're not talking about an RFID chip, bitches.
Right. I'm talking about what, you know, I see it as this is such a rampant thing that, not everybody has to take it. I understand that. Not everybody's going to take it. I understand
look,
that too.
you know why there's no fucking polio? Because people got vaccinated.
Right. And
if there's a vaccine out there, and I mean, if it could, I don't know, if it could change the world that we're living in at this fucking moment, right, without killing you, I don't know why you wouldn't want to take it.
well, now to me, Christian, what I would say to people is like, look, if you decide not to get it, that's your prerogative. That all well and good. I'm not going to be the one to tell people they have to have it.
I'm not saying
But no. But I'm also
by
saying,
any means.
in the same breath, is that if I decide I'm going to get it, I don't want to hear from people telling me how I'm a fucking sheep, or I'm I'm falling for all this crap. I don't want to hear it, man. It's my decision. It's the way the way I've seen it, the way I see the world right now. And, to each their own is the way I see it at this point. But to answer your question, yeah, I will get it. Whether I'm able to go back to doing our line of work or not, I think
It's no guarantee that taking the vaccine is going to get us back to where we were.
right.
But it increases our chances of getting there. So I'm on board.
Right. And it's also no guarantee that if you take it, you don't get sick. You know what I mean? There's no guarantees out there, but it is what it is, man. And that's just my feeling about it. I'm not going to tell somebody they're wrong for not getting it, so I don't want to hear that I'm wrong for getting it. That's where I put it at. You know what I'm saying?
Although we welcome any discussion you want to bring onto our show.
Absolutely, discussion is fine. Just don't come at me with you're fucking wrong and that's that kind of shit. You know what I mean? I'm all for the discussion.
You guys can save that shit for Parlor or whatever platform you guys are on.
But anyway, we wish nothing but the best for everyone. We hope everybody stays safe, however you need to do it.
Yeah, man. Enjoy your holidays as best you can, man.
Hey, and
still that time of the year where we should be thankful.
That's right.
For our friends and our family and our loved ones. And hopefully, the world will get better.
Right.
as this year comes to an end.
Right. Absolutely. And next week, as of right now, I'm really excited about next week's show. I'm not going to say, just in case something happens, who we have coming on, but I'm super excited about it. I'll be jazzed. Hopefully nothing will fall through between now and then. But
And once again, if you're from Colorado and you're an entertainer, or you're in a band, or you're an artisan of some kind, and you want to come on the show to share what you do with people, please feel free to email us at the stage door or stagedoorchronicles@gmail.com and come on the show, man. I mean, we would love to have you.
right.
We're here to spread the word about what is happening in our state as far as arts and entertainment goes.
That's right.
So, I mean, come on.
Right.
Quit fucking a boot.
Oh, shit. All right, Christian.
All right, bro.
I think that's good. Everybody.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good week, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.